Hey, what's up guys? My name is JD from JDTechGear and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different and something I actually want to bring more of to the channel, and that's some PC modding. It's very basic, it's very amateur, it's just very entry level, but it's something that I want to get more into, and I think it's a little bit more exciting than some reviews. Obviously we'll have reviews sprinkled in, but that's for a video later on. Anyways, we're going to be doing a Techvengers mod wars, and basically it's a collaborative effort between me and a couple other tech YouTubers, which will all be listed in the description below and at the end of this video, that are all modding the same PC case along with the system inside, not all the same system. Basically we're having a whole entire build off of modding our PCs after a specific member of the Avengers. This way we all have these different themed PCs and you guys can vote for whoever you like the most. There's a whole entire guideline and stuff like that that outlines all the rules about what we're actually doing here. It's a video on Oz's channel that you should check out if you want to see before this video. Anyways, we're going to get into it. I'm doing Black Panther. Let's have some fun. So I made this stencil in Photoshop, which was very tedious. What I basically did is I took a picture of the Black Panther mask in Captain America Civil War, and it was a front-facing type of frame, so I was able to get the whole entire mask head on, so that I was able to get all the lines as neatly as I could, and I kind of traced it out by making some shapes that were pretty close to what the shapes were on the mask. So this is a simplified version. It's kind of more of an abstract approach, which I really like. And then I just colored it in with Sharpie right now, just to kind of give it a base coat, and then I'm going to top it off with spray paint to kind of give it a more even and finished look. And the Sharpie's just there, kind of give it a fuller look, just in case I have any issues with the spray paint. So it's kind of my fail safe. But yeah, the painter's tape is the best way to go for this. For me, at least, because if you make a stencil, like say on some, I don't know, poster board or something like that, you have the possibility of having runoff and the spray paint going underneath the stencil. Here, with the painter's tape, it's completely flush with the surface, and there's adhesive on it, obviously, so you don't have any parts of it that are coming up and that spray paint can leak into. So that's very important for me. So this came out pretty good for me. This is my first time really doing anything like this at this kind of stage or complexity, but it's about to get a whole lot more complex. So here, I have the font on my computer that was used in the Black Panther movie actually, and so I wanted to replicate that and have the Black Panther, I guess, logo and font all combined in one on the top of the case here, and this is all centered and everything. And the size that I wanted to have is a little big for standard copy paper, so I had to print it off underneath, and I had to cut it and separate it and make sure the spacing was the same between these letters and make sure that it was all aligned properly, so that was a bit tedious. But now what I'm going to do is carve all these out with the X-Acto knife, because the X-Acto knife is a little bit more precise than the box cutter, especially when I'm doing these curves and things like that, so that will help a lot more than the box cutter. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm a little scared for it, but let's get into it. Alright, so I spent the last couple of hours trying to come up with designs and everything. That's why I didn't really film the process, because it was just a lot of trial and error for me. So this is what I finalized. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting out all these shapes for different accents on the case. So I know there's acrylic and stuff like that, but I don't know, I'm more familiar with like corkboard and stuff, and it's really easy to work with. Now you could do all these shapes by hand, but that would take a long time, so I'm probably going to end up using a blend of a table saw for the big cuts and a jigsaw or scroll saw for the more intricate cuts that we have over here. So basically I have these all labeled out. These are all different parts of the panel. So like over here is like the bottom of the what is this, the bottom of the front panel here, and it's going to be this shape. So basically what I'm going to be doing is, this is going to be black accent, this is going to be at the top of the front panel, this is going to be a black accent, this is going to be silver accent, this is going to be a black accent that goes on the PSU shroud, and this is going to be a silver accent that goes on the inner wall of the front panel, and this is going to go on the back panel right over here. The rear panel has a lot of open space on it, but honestly I think this is going to be the easiest method and the cleanest looking method over anything else. I was going to try to do tribal designs and stuff like that, but it's way too intricate for me and my skill level. Next I'm going to get this all spray painted, taped off. I have to tape off all the sides so that we don't get any overspray. I know you can drill out the rivets and then re-rivet all the panels back together so you can spray paint the panels individually, but I don't have all those tools with me, so I'm going to have to make do with what I have. I'm probably going to use the In-Win 101 box over here as the catch for the spray paint. We're going to get that done, and yeah, that's basically where we are in the process right now, and I think this is going to end up looking pretty good. Alright, so we got all the pieces printed out. Oh, by the way, I have a cameraman now, so that's nice. Alleviates a lot of the pressure. So we've got, what is this? I spray painted all the parts that are going to be used on the build. We still have the tape on here. We got to wait a full 24 hours before we can take this off. Okay. Oh, okay. But basically we're going to take all this stuff off, and then we're going to start working with those pieces so we can glue those on. So that's what we're going to do next, and start getting this all coming together, finally. The glue that I was using it was an absolute pain. It was just like standard Gorilla Glue. It takes time to set, and you need to have clamps and stuff like that, and that's just very convoluted. What ended up happening is like it had like foam coming out the side over here because it wasn't pressed down all the way, and I had to cut away some of the foam. You can see some of the glue like got over here, and the back panel is even worse. Let me show you the back panel. Alright, so here's the back panel. You can see like all this, it left like this film over it, and it just looks bad. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do this. There's some Sharpie. I mean, it kind of helps, but not really. If I was just using acrylic, it probably would have been easier. And if I was just using standard super glue instead of like the strong bonding epoxy, that probably would have been better, because the super glue just like sets in like 10 seconds. The stencil came out looking really good, and that was all done by hand, so I'm really happy with that, along with the lettering. I mean, obviously it's not all perfect, but I think it's not bad for doing it by hand with an X-Acto knife over a stencil. Here's the cooler. I'm using the Arctic Freezer 33 cooler, and it had like these outlines on it, so I just outlined it with Sharpie. And we've also got the HyperX Fury Ram over here, which is black and silver, and then I'm leaving the gold on these heat sinks because it kind of emulates Killmonger's suit as well. And that's pretty much the status and update of where we're at. I'm almost done. I got all the cables pretty much somewhat organized, but I'll have to finish that soon. Also, the RGB fans over here do have purple in its color cycle, but unfortunately it won't set to the static color of purple. So that doesn't really make much sense, and I'm kind of frustrated about that. Our budget is limited, and if you wanted, I don't know, software controlled RGB fans, they start getting pretty expensive. Not like super expensive, maybe around 50 bucks for a pack of 3. I got a pack of 3, well, 2 packs I guess, for 20 bucks each. That was within the budget. I might try something a little crazy. So this is what I ended up doing. My mistakes inspired more creativity. And I used that poster board that I got to make these tribal like inscribings, and I etched these all out by hand with a box cutter overnight. And I didn't record it because it's kind of hard for the camera to pick up unless you're really close to it, so the footage wouldn't be really that interesting to look at in a time-lapse kind of way, so I didn't record it. But yeah, I spent all night making these cuts. I'm going to spray paint it black, and then I have a spray adhesive that I'm going to use and then put these on, and I got these cut to fit already. So yeah, that's the next step of the process.